101, the total is $21,920.72. 101 was $19,304.48. In building, which is 249, it was $449.99. And our 701 account, which is the account where we hold funds, and when the projects are done, we return what's there to the parties. And that was $166.25. And the fire 206 was $43,383.99. And I will say that with it being part of the year, some of these will probably be go back when Ken does the audit. They'll be cash backed.
Yeah, for those who don't know, he always takes whatever was spent, and if it's for the past year instead of going forward, he pulls it back into the audit report for that.
Correct. For 2020.
Yes.
Or March 2021. So that's that.
Okay. Is there, are you going to make a?
Yes, I'll motion that we accept the accounts payable as presented.
Are there any questions or comments from anybody on the board? If not, would somebody like to second the motion?
I'll second that.
By Gina, okay, and well, no, this is for the money, so please take a roll call vote on it, Janelle.
Right.
You gotta keep me straight when I get carried
I
away.
gotta watch out for it. DePalma.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Meadows. Yes. Christopher.
Yes.
Nazarelli. Yes.
Okay, it's approved. Financial reports for general fire and building. Patty, do you want to?
Yes. I'll just, they're all in order, so I'll motion to accept the financial reports as presented for general fire and the building funds.
Okay. So, there any questions from anybody on the board? If not, just approve the submission for the accounts payable or financial reports as submitted. All in favor, say aye.
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 Sorry, who's supported that? Back motion to approve it?
Okay, I think I jumped the gun. I'm sorry.
couldn't-
I made the motion. Does somebody want to second
I
that?
made the motion. Oh,
We're not really approving the money. It's just approving the reports anyway.
okay.
So there's no money transaction here.
Right.
So are we all in favor of the reports as submitted? Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're cruising. Then comes the investment reports. By the way, I need to say, Janelle, the way you set this up with the dividers
Yes.
between these sections, perfect.
Love it.
It makes it
Yeah.
much easier. Yes, very good. Thank you. So I'm sorry, Teresa, this one's yours, investment report?
Okay, so I hope it doesn't look too busy to all of you.
No,
but
perfect.
Good. I was debating about leaving, 3 months on one sheet, but I decided, what the heck, this is the last month of fiscal year 2021. So I just added it onto this. And as you can see, we're, doing very well. So that's my report.
Okay, I guess.
Nothing major to say.
Yeah, no, it looks good to me, and I like the way you have it spread out on the 5 months. It's very helpful to look at it that way. Okay, we don't need to do anything on that because there's no money transacting there. Now we're going to move to the presentation section of the agenda. And today I can't see, Michelle, I see there you are. Thank you. Beckett Rader is, Michelle, our representative there, is going to give us the report on the master plan. And so rather than me tying it up anymore, Michelle, I'd like to turn the meeting over to you for your presentation on our master plan that we're wrapping up and getting ready to send out.
Okay, thanks, Bob. Can everyone hear me okay?
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, do I have the ability to share my screen, or would everyone just like to look at their packets? At the
Okay, can you
presentation?
share it just for anybody else in the audience outside of the meeting people here that might want to see it? So if you can share it, that would be great.
Okay, can you guys see this?
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so it's been a journey. If any of you have been here since the beginning, I have come in towards the end of this process, but I'm helping wrap it up. So what I want to do is just go over the master plan highlights, and I'll take any questions or comments that you have and explain what's left of this process.
Excellent.
So I just want to start by what is a master plan in case any of you weren't here in 2017 when this started. It is an inventory of what we have. So we're looking at existing conditions, and that covers a lot of things in a municipality. It's your housing, it's your natural features, your recreation, transportation, everything that makes up a community, our community engagement as well. The next thing we want to figure out is after we know what we have, what do we want? So we did that by coming up with goals and objectives, a lot of which were put together based on some sessions that we held with the community and stakeholders. And then we end the master plan by trying to wrap all that up and say, okay, well, how do we get to where we want to go then? And that's where we'll go over the action plan a little bit later. Those are the steps we're going to take to achieve our goals. So I just want to give a little background. This is enabled by the state. So the state gives you the permission to do this, and it lays out what the purpose of a master plan is. It also says that any community that's zoned must be based on a plan. So if you're going to continue to be a zoned community, which is 99% of communities, then you have to keep your plan up to date. And the purpose really of the master plan here is to coordinate development and make sure, and these are like the key terms here, that it promotes public health, safety, prosperity, and welfare of residents for their current and future needs. So this is a future-oriented document. We're looking at least 10 years in the future to plan for what we think is coming so that we're being proactive and not reactive. The master plan is the larger framework, and that is what sets kind of the general guidance for your zoning ordinance, which is the local law. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. One of the requirements in the master plan is that you write a statement of the zoning plan, and that's what connects the two, the master plan and zoning ordinance. In the zoning plan, we write, what do we need to do now that we have all this new information, these new goals? What do we need to do to our ordinance to make sure that it aligns with what we've proposed? So I'll go over some of the major themes, and this is where I'll stop and answer any questions if you guys have all taken a look at the document, and I can pull it up here as well and share it with you. I'm happy to answer any questions or any of your concerns. But let me start with some of the major themes here is that the population in the region, so therefore in Groveland as well, is expected to grow, but very slowly and steady. So we're not expecting a huge population boom. One of the main characteristics of your community is that it is aging, and this is common all across Michigan. So our age cohorts of 65 years and older are growing at a faster rate than other cohorts. SEMCOG does they do a forecast for which employment sectors they think will grow the fastest. So these are the ones that are predicted for Groveland. They're healthcare, which sort of aligns with our aging population, leisure and hospitality, which is also we can see starting to happen in Groveland. And then professional and technical services. This is kind of a broad category that just explains we are, America has turned into a service-based economy. At least that's the fastest growing sectors. When we look at your land use, it's important to know that almost a third of the land is recreational, and that the community loves this, and the people that showed up to the community engagement said that they want to keep it that way, if not enhance those opportunities. So that's a big theme. especially as that can be kind of attached to economic development. So we've sort of looked at our corridors and figured out where is it best to continue to permit recreational uses. When we look at your kind of your services and your infrastructure, what became really apparent during COVID as we were wrapping this up was that broadband is now more important than ever, as most people had to stay home and work. Not everyone could be supported by fast internet. So that's going to be something that's going to be more important in the future as people might shift to like a hybrid model where they're working from home more than they did before. And then the biggest part of this plan really is thinking about our corridors. Dixie Highway is definitely where we want to concentrate a lot of our energy. So the Dixie Highway overlay was talked about a lot with the Planning Commission. It's in progress and we're pretty clear on what we want there. Is we want to not only concentrate development there, but we want to have high design standards, want to make sure landscaping and parking are attractive, that we're not obstructing beautiful view sheds. And this also kind of ties into historic preservation where this is a good place. And maybe Bob can talk more about this, but we've talked about the quilts, right? Hanging up the quilts along some of these corridors as a way to show off, Groveland Township's heritage. So that's just the real quick overview, but I can pull up the plan and scroll through it or take any comments or questions that you guys might have about the content. And then I will talk about the process moving forward.
I think you're doing a great job. You're on a roll. Everybody seems to like what we're hearing, so.
Okay, no major objections?
Nope. I think it
Okay.
came across.
Okay, great. So the future land use map is really where we coordinate what we want our land uses to be in the future. I've just put 3 bullet points here of what some of the major or anticipated changes could be. One is if you can see the darker red area, we added a category called Village Hub. This is where Dixie Highway and Grange Hall Road intersect. So this corner had a historical heritage and would be a prime location for more of a village type feel. I separated public and private uses mainly because one you have more control over than the other. So private uses, recreation uses are also commercial, whereas the public land, if you don't own it, then you don't have as much control over it. And then the Dixie Highway overlay that will be on the future land use map. It is there now. I think it's hard to see right now the hatch marks, but I don't think that was on previous maps. So we're going to make sure that that's on the zoning once it's passed and on the future land use map. So here's the action plan in order of highest priority. So you can see Dixie Highway is the top priority. And these priorities are associated with timeframes, right? So our highest priority are things that we're going to work on first. Anything that's in the C category is going to be closer to 5 to 10 years away, but we want to keep it on our radar should any opportunities come up before then. Okay. I do want to make a statement here that, the master plan, we live in a quickly changing world and, our processes, our public processes can be slow and they might not always align perfectly with what we want to happen. But following the spirit of the master plan is really important because if we don't, it loses a lot of credibility. And there could be possible, legal implications if we say we want land to be a certain way and then we pivot and go a completely different direction. So this is the framework that we're going with now. This is a document, though, that can continue to be updated. In fact, the state requires you to look at it every 5 years to see if it needs updating. But should any major changes want to happen, their amendments can be made. Okay, so for the process, where we started is I worked with staff a lot and with Jenny from the Planning Commission chair to draft the master plan. It has been to the Planning Commission and they recommended that it come to you now. So where we are right now is if this is approved tonight, what the Board of Trustees is approving is that this plan can be distributed publicly for 63 days to open the comment period. And I will collect any feedback that we get from the public. And also I have to send it by statute to all your surrounding municipalities, to the county, to SEMCOG, to any major public utilities that, own land in your municipality. If there were a train, I would have to write to them as well. So all the major stakeholders I will notify on your behalf, and then I will collect their comments. It's going to be longer than 63 days because the Planning Commission doesn't meet again until July, but that's perfectly fine. They will hold the public hearing, hopefully adopt it, and then it will come back around to you all for the final adoption. So we're probably looking at August. And it'll come back around to you. But during that 63 days, also feel free to look through it, and you can submit any comments as well that you have. Okay, I believe that is my last slide.
Okay. I did read it all when you sent it to me before, and it looks to me like a couple of minor tweaks that we had to fix. I think all got corrected on it when I looked at it today.
Okay,
So
great.
I think personally think it's in great shape to go. If anyone else on the board has got any comment.
I just had a quick question.
Sure.
Okay, and since the pages aren't really numbered, it's on the page that has forest and recreation.
Not numbered.
So it's right after the map number 4, forests.
You said your pages aren't numbered. Oh, in your packet. Okay.
Packet. I don't
Yeah.
see. So there's a map called forests. It's map number 4. And then the very next page has a category called recreation. And basically it's just a technical question, right? But it's about, I thought that we had like 40% of the township was county, state, and public lands, but this says 31%, and it could just be because it's under the category recreation?
Yes, because the 40% number that was used is county and state combined. If you take county's land, the state lands, and I believe that original statement probably included the roads as well to come up with the 40.
Oh.
That's what I think it was.
Oh, okay, all right.
But the depiction in the map is accurate,
Okay.
and I think it's a pretty good benchmark.
Yeah, that's the page right there. You scrolled past it.
This one.
Go back up one. In that paragraph there called recreation.
Yeah, 31% of the township's land. This sentence.
Yes, and that, I understand that now, according to Bob, that is accurate, and I didn't doubt that. I just couldn't
Reconcile.
that I've heard 40% says 31. That was the only question I had, and so Bob explained it, so that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else from anyone else on the board? Any questions or comments? Are we happy? Think it's consistent with what we've talked about?
And that would be my only comment. I think it's very consistent with the meeting that we all attended and collaborated on there's the community meeting at Tamarack I'm referring to.
Yes.
Actually, there's several of them.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I attended them and this is consistent with that. Yeah.
Patty, I can't see on the screen right now. Do you have any comments, or Jim?
No, I'm fine. It looked good to me.
I have no comments, everyone.
Me neither.
Agreeable. I think, Michelle, you need us to make a recommendation that we approve the plan as submitted and want to proceed with the formal adoption going forward?
I'll open it.
Yeah, so I see it's under resolutions. I did send over a template that you can use as the resolution that just says, the Board of Trustees pursuant of the MPEA approves it for 63-day distribution.
Okay, I don't.
Patty.
So under 11A.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so if we can use that motion, is that agree? Somebody want to make the motion to adopt this resolution?
So the resolution basically says that we're gonna follow what her steps were
Yep.
and let it go to the 63 day.
Yeah, they have to do that. They'll send it to everybody and their brother for comment on it to make sure any border parcels are not inconsistent with what the next community might have.
Okay.
So the township hereby approves distribution of the draft master plan for the 63-day public comment period.
Thank you. Okay, that's your motion.
That's my motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Patty, okay. Are there any questions or comments from the board? If not, let's just do this on a roll call. It might be easier, okay? That's the culmination of this as we get to the end. Janelle?
Okay. Back,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
De Palma.
Yes, now there's a big sigh of relief because this has been going for quite a while. I feel good that we're finally on the final steps. So it's on its way and hopefully by August all finalized and we'll get some multiple copies printed and also put it up on our website for people that haven't had a chance to see it. Okay, is there, well, with public hearing, we have nothing on the agenda for today. It was the presentation on the master plan. I guess if everybody's okay, I would like to digress just for a moment and ask if anyone else that's on the audience has any questions they want to ask about the master plan. If you could indicate that, we'll give you an opportunity to comment here as well as at the end of the meeting. Not seeing any, I can't see any indications. Can you?
Anything, Chief?
Okay. Okay.
David's the only other resident.
Okay, all right, then we'll roll on. The next item on the agenda was public hearing. We have none scheduled tonight. And unfinished business, we have none scheduled tonight. We'll move on to new business. And the first item on the agenda, just to give everybody a little background, is discuss a food vending ordinance for a food truck. We had a resident in the area that came to us last year and said, I think it's, they said they do. And they wanted to know if we could have if we would have a food truck ordinance that would support it. And the general consensus, Jim, you can feel free to jump in, but I think the planning commission was pretty receptive to it. And I can tell you, I've had one other individual who has also indicated an interest in it. So the document that everybody has in front of them right now, unless I'm missing something, Jim, is the output of the planning commission's effort for a mobile food vending ordinance. And it originally got, set up with ordinance number 216, but it's actually going to be, I believe, Patty, 218, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So with that, Jim, did you want to add anything to that or discuss this in any way?
You know, Bob, I think I'd really just be repetitive. I really don't have anything else to say other than we've noodled it over. I think it's something we need to vote on, and I think it's valuable for the township.
And I think we're going to see people probably doing it at places like the ORV track.
And that lady used to do it on Groveland. Remember? The
Yeah, I don't know. She's not
Pierogies?
doing, I think she's not doing it anymore.
No,
though,
I
is she?
know, I miss her.
Well, maybe she'll come back. Okay. All right. Well, then if there's no other questions, the board
Oh,
needs to have a
Bob,
motion.
can I make a comment, please? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Under Article 6, under fees.
Yeah.
It does say that an application for a permit shall be accompanied by a fee in the amount established by resolution by the Board of Trustees. In the application that comes right after this ordinance, I believe the fees that were selected, and this is based on, you know, the clerk's best estimates, what is going to be $150 for your first one and then $50 for any subsequent one. So I'm just wondering if maybe there needs to be a resolution passed to adopt this and include the fee in there.
Very good, Michelle. Thank you.
Yes.
So are there any other comments or questions from the board? If not, does somebody want to make the resolution to adopt it and specify the fees? They're on the second page of your application there.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Teresa. Yeah.
That's okay. I was wondering, and this is just because I'm trying to understand it better. In Article 7, number 3, it says the mobile food establishment shall be removed from its vending location daily. Like, that seems like a lot of work, but there's probably a reason for it, and I just don't know what it would be.
Jim, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the concern was we didn't want somebody with a food vending truck setting it up on a piece of property permanently and then creating what they thought might be an unfair advantage to another restaurant that might literally be next door, a brick and mortar shop, and somebody just leaves their truck parked there and says, see, I'm doing the same thing, and all I did was buy a truck.
Okay.
That's the discussion I remember, Jim. Is it other than that?
Yep, no,
Well,
no,
like
you're right.
I'm thinking of the one that's down at Dixie
Mhm.
by that
Barbecue
old
place.
Mr. Old B's Baker Street.
They sat up there quite for the whole time.
And they're up there the whole time. Yeah. Okay, so that makes
But
sense.
that's the reason why, because the one that actually requested this, I believe the truck is over on Myron Street off of M15. And everybody thought it would not be fair to the permanent brick and mortar ones if the guy just left it there all the time. So
Okay.
that was the reason.
Okay.
Okay.
They demoed that one on Dixie there, the one that was Baker Street.
Oh, the building was gone?
The
Yeah.
building is gone now, yes.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
Won't be parking there.
So
Okay, so,
So
I'm
we
sorry.
need two, I just want to be clear with Michelle. I didn't realize that we had to approve the application and permit fee by resolution.
Can't we do that in the same motion, Michelle?
No.
No, okay.
So we have to approve, I just want to be sure that it is correct. We have to approve the ordinance. And then do I need to write up a resolution and we approve it at the next board meeting for the fees?
We should be able to
I don't know why we
Yeah,
can't
should be able to handle it today.
Prove it as a resolution, even if the document's not here.
That's what I meant, a document, yes.
And let me ask you this, Patty, later on, when we go over the building department fees and stuff, is it also repeated in there
No, it won't be.
with those? Okay.
Building
right.
department is just the building department fees.
All right, well, let's make a resolution then for the ordinance first, for number 165, I believe it is. Or I'm sorry, 218.
We want to approve the ordinance 218, mobile food vending.
That's just a motion.
That's-
Yes, that's a motion.
yeah,
Is there a
motion.
second?
I'll second it.
Yeah, I think Gina beat you.
I'll let Jim do it. He's on-
Okay, was it Gina?
Yeah, she.
Give it to Jim, he's on the committee.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Jim, you got it.
I'm the foodie.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'll arm wrestle
Are
with
there
him.
any questions or comments on the motion by the board?
Okay,
If not, can we take a roll call vote on it?
yes.
Mills,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Back,
Yes,
Okay. And so do you want to make another motion, Patty, now for the fee?
I can do it if you want.
Oh, okay. Gina wants to do it.
I'll move that we accept an application or impose an application and permit fees of $150 for the first location and $50 for each additional location for this mobile food vending ordinance 218.
So second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? If not, Janelle, could you take a roll call on that too?
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Back,
yes.
Yes.
Well, I think we made two people happy, I know that. Okay.
And the people who are going to eat from it.
And the people we're going to eat from. The next item on the agenda is discuss amending the building fees, and just for everybody's benefit, one of the things that Danielle had got to me about was the fact that frequently she and Jerry are our ordinance inspection guy, we'll take a look at different charges and try and make sure we're keeping in line with what other communities are doing. And some of the charges, she felt we were leaving some money out and actually having some expenses involved in it. So doing the right thing, she went over the fees, did some canvassing of the surrounding communities. In between her and Jerry, they put together the fee structure. And I think, Patty, you worked on this with her too, didn't you?
Yes.
I didn't mean to cut you out. I'm sorry, Patty.
No, that's fine.
We think we have here the revised building fees as they should be at this time for the different structures, and they're all outlined in the document that you have in front of you, which is about 10 pages of building fee charges. Is there anything you think we should add to that, Patty, that you want to add on?
No, the only thing I wanted to point out was some of the fees are the same. Most of them were admin fees that went from 25 to 50. And then there was a base fee and plan review fees that were added. Also a little bit different organization of the way the prior fees were set up in the ordinance. So basically this is ordinance 165, amending its 18-5 amending 18-4 is how it will go. And the way it's written is how it will go in the ordinance book.
Is that your motion?
Yeah, I can clean it up a little if you'd like.
Okay.
So I motion to amend ordinance 165, amending 18-5 or 4 with 18-5 to update the building department fees.
Okay, as indicated in the document, right?
Yes, as indicated in the document.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions or comments from anybody on the board?
I have a question.
Sure.
So when it says reinstatement of an expired permit,
Yeah, that's one of the changes.
right, I noticed that's a change, but I guess my question regarding this would be, are we going to have any like extenuating circumstances for recent expired things due to the COVID? Like, is there a place here where we're maybe taking into consideration if somebody's building project got put on hold somehow and they're over their 1 year at this point due to the COVID? Is that something that is being taken into consideration? Like, or is it all just you're over your 1 year? Are there anything we can do to just sort of look at why maybe they were expired?
I see Danielle is on the call with us. Danielle, did you
Yes.
want to comment on this? Yeah, Danielle?
Just chat it in on a case-by-case basis. She'll review
Right.
it.
I'll review it on a case-by-case basis. A lot of people that do contact me, and there's always usually some logical reason why. And I'll usually bump it out or work with them.
I was just concerned about the COVID and what, because it's just really,
A unique kind of situation.
yeah, it is. And
I don't think that the intent wasn't to try and be punitive. I know from talking to Danielle about this, the issue is we get some people that just never seem to get a project
Right,
done, and then
right.
she's got to try and dig up all the records again and get the whole thing going again. And that's the ones we're really trying to get.
absolutely.
But we
absolutely.
typically would use discretion on those if we thought it was a legitimate situation.
And I didn't get a chance to ask you any of that stuff earlier, but, okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so any other comments or questions? Do we have the motion? We do?
Just vote.
Just
I
oh,
motioned, I lost who seconded.
I did.
Jim, thank you.
all right, would you take a roll call then on that, Janelle?
Mozzarella,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes,
Mills,
Yes.
Christopher.
Yes.
I'm perfect, man.
I like it the way you said that. It was German, right? Okay. Next item on the agenda is discuss highest support. Patty, did you want to cover that for us?
Yeah, this is annually, we donate $2,500 to sponsor the Holly Area Youth Assistance, and we also do it for the Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance. So this is to sponsor them for 2021. My motion is to approve sponsoring Holly Area Youth Assistance in the amount of $2,500 for the year of 2021.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
By Gina? Okay, any other questions or comments from the board?
Yes, does BGYA have to ask for it, or can we?
Yes, yes, they do. And there is a meeting tomorrow. I will bring it up to
Right?
Bob MacArthur, who's the president, or yeah, the president, to send us a request.
Okay, so Patty made the motion. Is there a second?
Gina did.
Oh, you did second it? I'm sorry. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board?
No.
Okay. Janelle, would you take a roll call?
DePalma,
Yes.
Back,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes,
Lizarelli,
Yes.
Okay, next item on the agenda here is discuss the lawn service contract. And Patty, I know we've talked about this before, because in the years past, I remember we had Mr. Wolf doing the services for a long time, and he did a very nice job. The one we have now came in and really gave us quite a bit better price, which is why we changed. And correct me if I'm wrong, Patty, but I think for about 4, maybe 5 years, he hasn't raised his rates on us.
No, he hasn't.
And I know there was some discussion about, I think, whether or not we're happy with it. I guess that we can talk about this, but here's my concern. Typically, if we're going to change something and the cost structure might be different on it, I'd rather we bring those things up when we have our annual budget meeting in February, because then we can kind of all focus in on it.
It kind of is, because we have been charged for $50 per man hour.
Mhm.
And that is built into our budget. So depending on what that looks like, my concern is, I think we should put it out. There's a lot of lawn companies in Groveland Township, good ones, and I think it should go out for bid.
One of the things we did last time, though, they had to have the required licenses and insurance.
Absolutely,
but we
especially
don't
since
do
they're doing the cemeteries.
Yeah.
I get that, and I don't know who's qualified, but it just seems if we're gonna be spending this money, and I'll say, the last couple of years, I got kind of horrified at the way they hacked the bushes. And that's my thing, so I'm gonna be judgmental as far as that goes, but I do.
No,
think
and I
it's
understand you have
prudent.
some background in
Right. But it is, I think it's also just prudent to, if we're gonna spend the money, at least if it's been 4 years, maybe it's time to send out, ask other people if they're interested and see. That's all. And can we go month to, he's got the prices right here. We can go month to month and.
Patty, that's a good question. I don't know. Most of the lawn services I ever
Yes.
talk about usually want to get you.
No, I'm saying,
Contracted at the
if we
beginning.
were to put it out to bid, can we go month to month for another month?
Oh,
I don't have an answer to that question. I'm not sure if they would agree to that, so basically I can't answer it. What if we were to talk with him about how to prune the trees and things like that? Maybe give him a chance. I don't know. I have no problem with putting, a bid out in the paper with a couple weeks on it or a month. Yeah,
Shouldn't need more than a couple of weeks. I
don't think so either.
I think, I think that just like we tried to do with the blacktop, I think we should give other local businesses the opportunity to at least bid.
I have a question.
Sure. Teresa.
So I'm not sure this total of $1,180. He's got on here spring cleanup, fall cleanup, and other things. It's not like he's doing these all the time. So are we actually This is just a menu, so to speak, of what he does.
Yes,
Then how does the man hour, $50 per man hour figure into this? Is it lawn cutting, $55 to cut the lawn here? And then where's the $50 an hour? Or is it just $55 to cut it? And then he figures it's gonna take an hour and, 1/10 of 6 minutes, right? To actually mow the lawn here. I'm not sure.
Well,
It- go ahead, Bob.
I was just say typically that $50 is when we ask him to do something extra that's not fixed charge in there. That's how he's been doing it.
Right.
In the rates here was, this is the stuff he does every week or whatever, the cutting the lawn. That dollar charge, I'm not even sure I could tell you who Scott is because I don't know if I've ever met him. But those are fees when we decide we want something else done usually. I guess I don't have a problem per se with getting a price again because we've done this 2 or 3 times. What I kind of feel though is when somebody's been doing it for 4 or 5 years, we at least owe him, well, it's not just that, we at least owe him, if you got legitimate concern about something that,
Right.
Lord knows I don't know, you haven't seen how I trim my bushes. But if we have a problem with something he's doing, I kind of think we have an obligation to at least say, hey, we think this needs to be
And
fixed.
and
Can we
staff
do that
changes
first?
too. I understand that,
Yeah.
it may be a different person this time. But again, we're spending the community's money. To me, that's just due diligence.
I have a couple of questions, Bob, when time permits.
Sure, go ahead, Jim.
All right, would someone enlighten me about, did I overhear right? You need a special licensure to be able to work in cemeteries?
Well, to do the work for the township, we can't have just anybody cut the lawn. We only, it's just like the guys that do the blacktop and stuff. They all have to be licensed and insured because the municipality
Okay.
doesn't pick up any exposure. So I think the cemetery is probably just an example, I would say, Patty, of one place where we know we don't want to have an exposure of liability. But the same thing would apply, Jim, on what they're doing here too.
Okay, I just didn't hear everything. Next question, it's a little out there, is I'm gonna pull the assumption that this approximates $4,000 to $5,000 a year when you add all the instances in. Can the fire department take part of this burden on? I'd rather see the budget go to the fire department.
Cutting our own grass.
Jim, I think we got an indication from the person in the audience, no.
Okay. Okay, no
My
problem.
Station 2, and then we bought a lawnmower for Station 1, and the second lawnmower we bought is giving us trouble for Station 2, so I brought my lawnmower in, but we're having some difficulties getting the grass cut. My guys want me to put that in the budget for this year, and as you know, we just didn't have room for that. So.
Okay.
Good question.
For what it's worth, just a couple more things. I'm sorry to take up time, everybody. Do we have a fertilizer or weed and feed regimen at all that we've considered?
I don't think there's one on the lawn per se. We usually pay to have the licensed provider spray the swing set area where the wood chips are so that they kill all the weeds, and then they usually put the band around it to tell everybody to stay off for a couple of days until it's kind of gone. And then we usually call Bedrock for wood chips, and I'll be honest, I think half the time he's giving them to us. If we got a bill, I've never seen it, but that's because it's Barry in the township. But he's usually who we order the wood chips from because they're a different composition of wood chips.
You might have
That-
a few.
Yeah, he's got a couple of them over there by our property, but they're different wood chips than you or I might use in our garden, actually.
Okay, and if it will help the cause, since this is kind of my bailiwick, I'm happy to come up with a specification that other corporations use for cutting the grass and fall cleaning, if it will help and contribute it, and then you can have something objective to put out that we've plagiarized from other groups.
Well, I guess I'm kind of leaning towards what I've heard here is like, can we try and work with Scott, since he's already doing it, and Gina, if you've got areas of concern, can we bring those to his attention, see if he can address them? And then Jim, can you get that write up, and we can make that an agenda item that we'll do after, you know? Is that okay?
I'm happy to get the write-up, sure.
I guess. Just
Yeah, it's fine by me.
okay. Patty, okay with you?
Yes, I have had some things, you know, that I have had to bring to Scott's attention. And he has pretty much done his best, or not pretty much, but he has, you know, corrected it.
It might be time to replace some of the bushes and things like that out here if we can't make them look the way we want them to.
Yeah, well, that's
And
like we
he
trees
he
out
is willing to do that.
build it.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And the one kept on getting a huge wasp nest in it.
Yeah,
That would attack
Right.
people when they were coming in.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason we got rid of that one. Okay, all right, is that?
Okay.
Is, I guess if we're all in agreement, then can we pursue with this contract? We'll talk to him about the areas we think we need it. And Jim, you'll get us something that we can use going forward for a standardized kind of approach on it?
Yeah, I'm sending the email right now. Yep.
And I'd just like to add, Teresa, that was a good thought. With Gina, you know, if there are other things that you think would work better, I think that would be something that, you know, we would be open to.
Sure.
A different type of, you know, flowers or something there.
Don't ask me, because everything I plant dies. So
I know.
I won't touch it.
And you can't spray it with the stuff you spray.
I don't touch, I don't spray, I don't plant. Okay, all right, then, I guess that's the motion. We'll continue to pursue the current supplier, talk to him about areas we want addressed. And Jim will prepare something that we can use going forward for a future standardized approach on it. Anybody that's got suggestions that need to be addressed, we'll take those to Scott through Patty, I guess, if that's okay, Patty.
Yeah, I'm sure we can have, set something up with Scott, Gina, and we'll make it convenient when you can make it, and we can talk with him.
Okay, so that's the motion. Is there a second to it?
I'll second that.
Teresa seconded it. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, this is kind of,
Yeah.
take the roll call, never mind.
We are sending honey.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Raleigh,
Yes.
De Palma.
Yes. Okay. Okay, the next one is to discuss the website. And I guess at this stage, there's been some discussion in the office about some of the bids we got. And I had quite a bit of discussion with Vinny, our cable manager, about several different services that he got prices on. And he kind of gave me the rundown on what he felt were the better ones. And we've had comments, I know, going back and forth on some of the emails. I'm amenable to whatever kind of a change you want to go here, but I'm wondering, Vinny, could you kind of recap the analysis? Because I think you're in the best position to say, here's what I did and what they look like.
So early on, we have revised right now, we're going to revise, but so I contacted them first, you know, naturally, and I said, hey, would it be seen, how would the upgrade process go? And they gave us a quote, that should be the first quote you see, which is like $9,000 or $8,500.
$8,450.
And that would offer a custom website. So that was their price to build us our similar website. And we browsed around, and I think we decided we like Lake Orion's website, and we like Brandon Township's new website.
Yeah, the one in Pennsylvania.
Or the one in,
yeah, that was nice.
Kennett Square.
Yeah, that's similar to just minor tweaking. So we it's all the same, like.
Oh, well, okay, because I didn't, those
Yeah.
weren't in my email, so, I mean, of Lake Orion and Brandon weren't options for me to click on.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, anyways, they told me that would be so their big price was the custom one, where they could do I'm sorry, we got, with the templates, I got confused. With the templates, that was their cheaper quote, and you'll see that quote next. I think that's their second quote for like 3,500 maybe.
That's
now-
the STG?
No, that is the
Still with revised?
That's
Oh,
with
oh,
Revised.
okay, okay.
Revised gave us two quotes, one for a fully custom site, which is.
The 8,450.
8,500, and then a template site. Now, the problem with their template site is it's just that. They're gonna take one template, and I read through the print, they're gonna copy and paste our photo and our text, and that's it. We would have to pay extra for every little thing, and I just think that, I wasn't too happy with that personally, but I then reached out to Shoemaker Technology Group, who we have Micah and Kyle here today. And they, for 4,500, that is you'll see their quote, that is the price for the fully custom site that Revised wanted double for. So with that, they were the ones who made Brandon, and I thought that was cool that I found, oh, that was one we liked, and here they are. So I reached out to them, and that is their quote. And then I also reached out to MuniWeb, who offers another fully customizable site, but they work mostly with bigger municipalities, like they might do Oakland counties, and theirs started higher. And one thing you'll notice is they charge $140 a month for hosting, which we currently do not pay. And both of these others, Shoemaker Technology would not have that, and nor would the cheaper Revised one. But you have to compare the cheaper Revised with, I think for us, it's the cheaper Revised.
It's more like the STG.
Right, exactly. But then when you look at the price difference, we get a fully customizable,
For the price of their cheaper.
for the price of their, yeah. So I think, now, like I said, we have people with us to answer. Any questions?
I know the one that sticks in my mind, because just remember, I think, Jim, you and I talked about it at one of the meetings where we agreed we like the animated motion that's in the front of those, because it just catches your eye a lot better and looks much more professional, I think, than what we're using right now.
Okay, and if I'll just say, you will not get that with the cheaper Revised site.
Right.
Flat out.
And
Because
that's the
literally-
subsequent discussion I think I had with you.
Yes. So I personally think that cheaper Revised site would be the bare bones. I mean, we would literally copy paste text and pictures. With going up a step to Shoemaker, while it's not much money, we would pretty much double we would get more than double the options. We'd get calendars,
It'd be customized.
it'd be customized, exactly.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but am I correct assuming you think we should go with the STG?
Yeah, that's my recommendation.
Okay, are there, at this point, I know you're on the call. I don't want to cut you out, but I want to know if there are any questions from any of the board members on it?
Yeah, I've got at least one, and I don't know who to direct it to, so Vinny, I'm going to throw it at you. With whatever recommendation we ultimately go with, will we have the ability that if we want to make changes with our own staff, that we will have permissions to be able to do that?
Have the STG guys answer that.
Yeah.
Micah or Kyle?
Yep, I'd be happy to take that. We pride ourselves on developing an open source technology, so you will own and have full control over the website. That does not mean that we're not here to support it and or help you manage it, depending on what level of ongoing support that you want. But yes, absolutely, you can, and we welcome you doing the day-to-day changes.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Jim?
I'm sure a couple will surface in the course of this dialogue, but that's good for now.
Teresa, I didn't want to cut you off. I think you had some.
I mean, I read through the whole proposal for all of them, and my understanding is that the whole development of the website would be something that would be, I guess, interactive between, you would do things, you would consult with us, we would tell you, yes, we like it, no, we don't. You would, tweak things and change them or whatever. And, we're used to looking at things on our computers because
Some mobile
we're
friendly.
sitting here. And I liked mobile friendly because most people are actually looking at the site on their mobile devices. So that I liked. I also thought it was it was nice that you were ADA aware, and I wanted a little clarification in terms of what do you do when designing the website to make it more ADA compliant? What would that look like?
That's a good question.
There's a lot of different things you can do, but you want to make the website as accessible to someone with disabilities as possible. So, for example, the very common example is, let's say that we have one of the pictures that slides across the top maybe is the township hall. In addition to just having that picture there, which is great for myself and presumably you can see, we also need to describe that picture in text so that the person with difficulty seeing knows that that's a picture of the Brandon Township Hall. Another very common thing, probably one of the most common violations we see our municipal clients doing is you'll print off, sign, and scan the meeting minutes. That works fine for those of us that can see, but if you're relying on a screen reader, that is just an image and they can see nothing in it. So those are a few examples visually. Also want to make sure not everybody can use a keyboard and a mouse. So you want to make the site as easy to navigate if they're using a voice assistance technology. So I could go on all night with examples, but I'm hoping that at least touches on your question.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And Jim asked my other question, so.
I think that's it for now.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Gina,
all I have
did
for
you have any
now.
questions?
No,
Patty, did you have any questions?
Not at this time, no.
I have another one, I'm sorry.
Sure.
To everybody, from my perspective, it is important that this website be inclusive of our fire department. That we do not have a standalone system for the fire department.
Jim, I was thinking that also.
Chief, you want to comment?
We already have one, but I'd be happy to change it over to that system.
It's a deal, Kevin, I love you. It's a deal killer if we don't for me.
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear Kevin, Jim. He said they already have one, but they'd be happy to change it over, and he really doesn't have anybody that handles it for him anyway, so it probably would be better to integrate it. So there's one source for all of it.
I think that's very healthy to do.
I think he's agreeable to it. Does that present any problems with Mika? Is it? Micah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Micah, no problem. No, that's totally fine. Yeah, we can definitely integrate a different web page for the fire department into the website as well. So that does not cause any issues at all on our end.
It's just a separate tab.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want one-stop shopping for our community.
What?
I'm a little
Michelle,
bit.
I'm sorry, yeah, excuse me, one moment. Michelle, thank you for the job you did tonight. It was great. We appreciate it. But you don't have to stay if you want to leave.
I don't know why you want to leave.
I can go either way. I just wanted to check in with you.
We just gave you an easy out. Take it.
Okay,
Right.
I am taking it. Have a great evening, everyone. Thanks for your support with the master plan.
Thanks, Michelle, for
Thank
everything
you.
you did.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I'm sorry. Now, do we have any other questions for these gentlemen?
I would like to ask, so just to reiterate, you have 3 levels of, I think this kind of hits on what someone asked earlier. You have 3 levels of like annually 500, 750, and 12
Maintenance fees.
maintenance fees. Now, what I think someone wanted to know is if we pick a price of, I think you could explain it, but can you explain the 3 tiers and what we get for each price?
Yeah, really. So 3 different packages that we offer are going to be your self-supported, your supported package, and then your fully managed package, which the self support package would be that's where the lowest range that I think is included in the packet. Was there a price for that, or you have that, Benny?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the lowest one, that would be something where you guys have full control over everything, and that would be more just like you are going to do all of the updating of everything, including anything little between your minutes to your agendas, all of that updating just goes right through you. Whereas the second one up, which would be the supported package that I think you maybe recommended earlier. I think I was at $750. That package is going to be, yes, again, you guys have full access to it and control anything that you want to update and add into there as far as minutes or content. And then we would also provide a ongoing support if you guys have any technical issues or questions, and that you can hop on and help you out, figure out what problems might be causing and help you guys make sure that everything is uploading properly and such. So
That's the only thing in the proposal, right, that I see.
Yep.
And
That was annually, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
And then to go into the next package, which is the fully managed package, that one is where we would go in and do all of the updating of content versus like your meeting minutes, your agendas, all of that stuff, any other content fixes that you would want us to change or add to the site. And then you would basically just send us an email or forward a Google Doc of just information, and we would go on the back end of the site and input all of that, which you would still have access to do if you wanted, but then you'd also have us to do it at your will, basically. So and so that's basically the difference between the two, is like the supported, you would do it with help from us if need be, and then the fully managed would just be like you could give it to us and we would go in and make sure any changes would be made.
What is it we're paying right now?
I was gonna say, I don't like that third package because then I'd be unemployed.
Need to tweak that pitch a little bit, Micah.
But yeah, exactly. But I just wanted to point out with that, we currently pay Patty, it's annually, so I think it only comes out once, but I think Revise told us on the phone, I heard from Revise that either of those two options we go with from Revise, we're gonna pay at least $1,000.
So the gist of this is,
Right, there's an annual.
STG proposal significantly less. But you could get that
Customized.
second option that you're talking about here, which would provide you some additional support, and we'd be paying less annually than we're paying now.
Because we pay
Right.
$750 now, but their prices are going up. So the guy, he told me, I think we pay $750 now. All I know is that we would probably pay at least $750 to $1,000, he said, is their annual rates.
Okay.
So
Okay,
that's what.
it's at worst the same rate, even if it stays.
Mike, does this support level make our documents ADA compliant? Is there a specific level that we have to agree to in order to make that happen? Because right now we do just scan in, right? Our minutes and stuff?
Yeah, I need to check on that because I actually thought we were supposed to scan or upload PDF versions.
Okay.
So maybe we just need to do some converting instead of scanning,
Okay.
which would work as well.
We could,
Yeah, so if I could touch on that a little bit, I know you guys mentioned using documents on demand was the at least the formatting of how you guys upload agendas, meeting minutes and such. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so that can just be reiterated into this new site if we get to help you guys with that, and make sure that you can be the same process. We wouldn't have to change anything from there. So that would be one thing that would be helpful, if you guys not having to switch to a different, uploading format. And then, yeah, it would, I think, Kyle, did you have a thought on that as far as the ADA compliance?
Yes.
There's no specific support level you have to go with for that. Just keep in mind that we can't be responsible for the changes we don't make.
Right.
And to briefly touch on workflow, if I may, there's nothing wrong with the PDF document type. That's a good format. But ideally, you'd want to save them, like if you type them up in Word or whatever you type them up in, save them directly to PDF rather than scan them, because then there's digital text that a screen reader can read.
yeah,
If you really want the copy with the signature there, you could post that in addition, potentially, but it is very important that the digital text be there.
Annual support right now is approximately $900.
Okay,
Right.
so it's still more than.
So that's why I recommended the 750, because it would, I would
Better
still manage
support
it,
and
but
it's
we would
less
still
money.
have them on retainer if need be.
Which is good, yes.
So I think I know the answer to this question, but
Yeah.
Vinny, you're our cable guy,
Yeah.
okay, like in the movie, right? So what is your recommendation?
After hearing all this and talking and gathering as much information as I have, I still would recommend the Shoemaker Technology Group. And like I said, they can build us something similar to Brandon or totally different. It's custom. Although I really like the look of Brandon's, and we're a very similar community size-wise. And personally, we don't have a ton of, we don't have police, we don't have library. So I think it'll be less, but it will still be
Same general kind of formatting.
right. Right.
Some continuity maybe.
And it was very mobile friendly.
And yes, and it's
Yes.
very,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that was what kind of started the whole
Yeah.
discussion. Some
Mhm.
people said it was hard to get some items
Right.
on our website, so this would address that. At the same time, if we go through the conversion, then we can make the tutorial on here's our new website, and here's how you get things, so it would be better, okay.
And also they use the same documents on demand that we use.
That's what I was gonna ask next.
Brandon
Okay.
does.
No, well, they
Yeah,
would
they
be,
incorporate it.
yeah, it would
Yeah,
be
they said
seamless.
they do it, yeah.
Exactly, it'd be seamless. We would not change systems for this documents on demand.
Right.
Patty, do you have any other questions?
Nope, I was wondering about the documents on demand. I had heard something earlier, but
Okay,
you all just confirmed that it would stay the same.
Jim, did you have any more questions?
Yes, I do. Could one of the STD gentlemen tell me what we could expect or what's typical of Google Analytics?
Google Analytics will provide you with probably far more data than you ever care about for the people coming to your site. So it'll everything from basic, the number of hits or the number of times the page is loaded,
Get some
even
ins-
to one of
That's
the more advanced things, you can even see how people flow through the pages. So maybe we can see that the majority of people hit the home page and then they go to the page about taxes, or they hit the home page and then go to elections and then taxes. It'll do its best to provide, you'll be able to see what type of device they're coming from. So if they're 75% of your traffic is mobile, we'll know. Some demographics to the best of their ability. I guarantee it provides way more data than you want to look at.
Well, that's good. How about, give me an example of a digitally submittable electronic form?
A digitally submittable electronic form is something like, I don't know if this would apply to you guys, but a lot of our townships and fire departments handle their own burn permits.
Yes.
So in a lot of cases, we'll make a form where somebody can essentially request their burn permit. That shoots off an email to the township, the fire department, or both.
That would just save our fire department. The chief's in the back of the room here and said that would save us $500 from what we're doing now, just doing that one function. We've got a problem with our permits right now, and it happens to cost us $500 a year. So by you being able to do it through your system, not only does it make it easier for everybody, I think, because it's a one website, but it eliminates the need for that other system. It happens to be giving us trouble right now anyway. Very good. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that one caught the chief's eye and mine.
And then I have a general question to our board. In looking through the proposal, we would have at least 1 or 2 meetings, I'm assuming as a board. We have to open that up to the public, I would assume, correct?
Yes,
We're all in, yeah, okay. Good. I think I'm out of questions and I'm enthused about this. Thanks.
Thank you.
If I could mention just a few things, I just wanted to kind of point out too that I don't know if it brought to your attention or not, but a few things on that proposal. Just like we did want to reiterate the 30-day money back guarantee that all the way up until 30 days after the actual site launch. If you guys are like unhappy with what you were provided, we would give a complete money back guarantee. Just to make confirm that, you guys are satisfied with your services that we've provided.
Very good.
And then also, I think on that proposal, there was also a list of references. If you guys have not already reached out to some of those municipalities that we've currently, work with and that we've provided websites for, feel free to reach out to them and ask them how their experience was, with us as a company. And, throughout, I think we've done over more than 60 township websites in Michigan as a company. And so we're very familiar with, how this process is and such. So, and yeah, so we look forward to, hearing what you guys are looking for.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, we need a motion.
Let's do it. That's my motion.
Can you be more specific, Jim?
Can you fill it out a little bit, Jim?
All right. I would like to make a motion that we embrace STG to move forward and revamp our website.
And to use the 750 annual support function?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right.
Support.
And Gina supported. Okay, any other questions or comments from the board?
No?
Okay, Janelle, would you take a roll call on it?
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
De Palma.
Yes.
Pat.
Yes, yes.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you. We look forward to working with you. And
Yes.
I would like to say thank you to our cable manager,
Oh,
Vinny,
yes.
for all
The legwork.
This research.
the research that you did. I mean, you put hours and hours into coming up with these things, and we as a board appreciate that.
Yes, very much so, Benny. Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome. Just don't go with that top tier plan.
Duly
I look
noted.
forward to working with you guys.
That was a bargain.
Okay. All right. And you gentlemen are welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go if you're done. We'll be in
Thank you.
touch. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next move on to resolutions on an agenda. The first item is to discuss the distribution of the master plan. Patty, I know, no,
We did that, didn't we?
you approved that for all the groups that it had to go to.
Right.
And that's set really by state statute, so I looked at the list, it looked complete to me, and they're gonna be floating all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, so we already did that during the master plan review. Next is discuss township options for state of emergency. Oh, okay. Patty and I called Will, because he asked us to send him a copy of what we did at the last meeting for the option to stay virtual if we need to, up to potentially December 31st, which, God, I hope it doesn't go anywhere near that. But, and he was fine with the resolution, said you're really kind of doing it under the states anyway, but he suggested that we take the resolution we originally did and redo it, and that's what you have submitted before you now. So, Patty, is there anything you want to add to that? I think it's just, do we agree that we want to redo this? Will said it's kind of like doing it twice, just to be safe.
Well, we
Yes.
did change it,
Yeah.
because we wanted to do
The
month
date,
to month.
yeah,
The end date
yeah.
is
exactly.
through December 31st, 2021.
Okay,
It extends it.
But the motion we agreed upon was for a month to month,
Right,
right, month
Yeah.
to month.
yeah, it doesn't change that.
Okay,
right.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, this is not the same as that.
Well,
Okay.
this is on the table. I would kind of like to have us commit to making a decision, like we get our board information the Thursday before a meeting. Can we make a commitment to let the public know by that date if we're live or not?
I think to that point, that's a valid consideration. I think what we should do, and I was going to suggest if it's agreeable to everybody, I am as aghast as anyone that the numbers have seemed to have gotten consistently worse since we met last time on this. But I have to believe at some point in time, the number of vaccines is going to eventually start that curve going the right way so that we can get out of the mess. But I think to your point, maybe we should make a commitment, even Thursday's probably kind of late, maybe just for the purpose of how we're going to do the meeting, the week before the meeting. If it's agreeable, I'll do a poll of everybody and we'll see where we stand on it then. And at least we'll be fairly current to whatever the trend is for 3 weeks before that to see if it's going in the right direction or not. I don't think there's been a whole lot of things that we've had that have been that dramatic to a lot of the people, but I think going forward, if we do end up exploring doing the Class C marijuana grow houses, that may get a lot of input from the residents. And on something like that, if that's the case and we get to that point, if God forbid the statistics are still bad, then maybe we have to find someplace big enough to spread everybody out for something like that that might get a lot of attention from the residents. But
Well, what about the possibility of just holding a meeting outdoors? I mean,
and we might be able to,
we're
and
getting
yeah, I
warmer
mean, we're
weather.
getting to the point where
Make sure we do that to get the bugs first.
What's the connection like outside of the building?
can we Bluetooth it out to the
Well,
parking
the
lot?
only thing we need is internet, and I'm not sure how stable the connection would be out there. 'Cause everything
Maybe
it's all like
when you
Wi-Fi.
come in the next day, you could try going out there and see if you get a good enough connection.
Well,
And then we could use that if we need to do something.
and I thought, if we can't, if the Wi-Fi won't reach, it's just gonna be a $20, 200-foot Ethernet cord, and we can plug it in out there.
To which somebody will drive over and wrap around their axle and take with them on the way out. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's do this. If it's agreeable to everybody, let's approve this reinstitution of the agreement that Will looked over, but I'll agree that the week before the meeting, I will poll everybody and we'll see what the current stats are. I hope they don't get any worse because I'm frankly surprised at how high they are, but I saw on the news today that they think roughly, I think 25% of the people have had both vaccines.
I thought it was higher than that.
Yeah,
Well, it could have been for the older population. It's higher
Yeah.
than that.
Of the whole population. The news tonight when I went home for dinner said 23 or 25% of the whole population had both vaccines. And that something like 32 or 3%, I think, had at least one. So but I don't know what's going to happen because those 15,000 or 15 million Johnson & Johnson vaccines got scrapped because somebody put them in a wrong bottle or something, but messed it up. So there's always something.
Sure, he's still.
I try to watch it in the morning when I go through my exercise because they usually cover it.
What do you want?
Yeah, I try to watch it in the morning and then at night I usually catch the 11 o'clock news and they're fairly consistent on what they tell us. So, but if that's agreeable to the board, I'd make the motion that we approve the resolution we have tonight per Will's recommendation, and that going forward, I will poll the members the week before we have the next meeting to see what the statistics look like. And by then I can put out whatever it is we get off of MSN or something. And we'll decide.
Can you state the resolution for the local state of emergency through December 31st, 2021? So that's basically what we're doing, but
Yep. I agree.
with well done, Bob, with the 1 week prior to whether it'll all be Zoom or hybrid.
Okay.
All
I
right,
agree with those changes. Is there a second?
I'll support it.
Okay. Since you cleared it
Maybe we
up.
should have turned that around.
Okay, is there any other questions or comments from the board? If not, Janelle, could you take a roll call on that?
Christopher,
Yes.
Musarelli,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Back,
Yes,
Bills,
Yes?
thought she forgot you, Trace.
What?
For a minute, I thought, did you go somewhere?
Did you say bills and I was zoned?
no,
She was,
she was on.
Somebody was zoned, I don't know.
No, she paused, so I thought, Where'd Teresa go? All right.
Okay. Here it is. I had the wrong page. That's what screwed me up. Hold on, let me get one more. Okay, the next item on the agenda is discuss the West Nile reimbursement. I know everybody's pretty used to this. We've been doing it with the county pretty much every year. And thank you very much, Janelle, for attending the training class on it, which is mandatory for us to get our annual supply of bug spray. And so now, in order to get that whole process in motion, not only did Janelle attend the class, but she went over our order from last year. The dollar amount's the same. A few things went up a little bit. So she and I looked at it and tweaked it a little bit to where we thought the impact would be minimal. And we have to adopt this resolution so that she can turn it in to show that the board is in support of the project. And we have to appoint, and it's usually me, as the, I guess, the West Nile virus information guy, for lack of a better phrase, right?
Yes.
King Mosquito, there we go.
Oh, we need to make a shirt.
Not if you want to get in the building again. Okay, so with that motion, is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that motion to make
Okay.
Bob the information officer on the
Okay.
mosquito repellent.
Okay. And to approve the resolution in support of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
To approve the
Um,
resolution.
Is there, you made the second, okay, any other questions or comments from the board?
I would just make sure that the community knows that what this means is this is our supplies so that you can come in here and get your mosquito repellent.
Yeah, they're all used to it. Once we actually get them here, you know, because they're not here yet, when they get in and then we get the boxes and a chance to unpack them, we'll have Vinny put it out on the sign. Everybody's kind of
It
used to
also goes in
watching
the
for it.
Citizen.
Goes in the Citizen, yeah.
And we'll put it on our Facebook.
They're pretty used to it. We've already had some people call, are we getting the bug spray this year? So if you know anybody and you're listening, you could tell them yes. And when we get it, we'll put it out on the sign and in the paper and on the webpage.
I just want to confirm the motion included Bob as our representative or, yes,
King
Okay.
mosquito.
okay.
Yeah, okay. Some tells me I'm gonna regret that, but okay. Next item on the agenda is to discuss.
Oh,
the
we need a roll call vote on that.
Sorry, yes,
Sorry.
take a roll call on it. I'm sorry, Janelle.
Lizarelli,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes,
Back,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher.
Yes,
okay. All right, next item on the agenda, you should have a copy of the 911 dispatch fire service agreement that comes from the county. As all of you know, I've told you before, when it's a state contract or a county contract, you aren't changing anything on it. It's their way, period.
Yep.
This is the new contract for the 911 calls that they get. The only notation we made on it, they frequently do this, they write the same agreement for everybody and they write Charter Township in there. And up in the north end here, the three of us are still general law. So I slashed it out, wrote general law, initialed it and dated it April 7th. So what we need now is a motion to approve the contract for the 911 dispatch service as submitted, just changing the reference to Groveland as general law.
A motion that we accept or approve the resolution 2021-011 for fire dispatch service agreement between Oakland County and Groveland Township of Groveland from 2021 through 2024.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Gina seconded. Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
No.
Okay, Chief, you got any questions? Okay, if not, Janelle, could you take roll call on it?
DePalma,
Yes.
Back,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher,
yes,
Lizarelli.
Yes.
Okay. Next one is kind of a typical thing that happens every year. There's several items that the county does resolutions on in support of, you know, some good economic considerations and programs for the community at large. And this month is to ask to adopt May as Mental Health Awareness Month. So this is you know, kind of like apple pie and motherhood, just a good thing to be support of. And so they send it to the townships to see if we'll support it. That's the resolution you have before you. I guess I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2021-012, making May Mental Health Awareness Month. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? If not, Janelle, you want to take a roll call?
Beck,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Petrelli,
Yes.
DePalma.
Yes. Okay, actually, we're doing pretty good here for all the stuff on the agenda tonight. We'll move to miscellaneous reports. First one is Holly Area Youth. Patty, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so, the skill building, they had 2 applications received. One was for driver's training, one was for gymnastics. And the executive board completed and updated their employee handbook, and it will be sent to the Higher board for review. Also, they will not be holding an annual banquet or meeting this year due to the COVID. So that's Holly Area Youth. You want me to just go on to Brandon Groveland?
Please do.
So Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance, it will have a Wojo's fundraiser. The dates are June 5th and 6th. You must mention BGYA at the checkout in order for the BGYA to get the credit. There's an internet security. I'll put it on the door and we'll put it on the website and the Facebook page. Internet security safety, it is April 20th from 7 to 8:30. And there was supposed to be suicide prevention tonight. It was canceled as they ended up without an instructor. Also, BGYA is supporting summer tutoring, and they are looking into possibly providing a bus to and from the school for those in need of transportation. It is pinwheels for child abuse and autism. If you see the blue pinwheels around, that's in support of child abuse and, well, not in support of, but awareness of, sorry. Whoops. Youth recognition will be May 13th is when the DVD presentation, it will be on Facebook, and yard signs and certificate folders will be delivered to the recipients of award. And I believe they had 80 some, don't quote me. It was down due to, you know, the COVID and the school. And family outdoor movies will be sponsored by CDBG, or not CDBG, BGYA on June 19th and July 17th at Sherman Park. And there is a board meeting tomorrow night or tomorrow morning, and it's Zoomed, and that's all I have on Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance. That's it.
Thank you, Patty. Next would be Jim for the Planning Commission. Anything you wanted to cover there, Jim?
Yeah, a few things. We have a new member of the Planning Commission, Jeff Benzine, who was in attendance at last month's meeting, which I think was the 23rd of March. A few other things. We have been invited to attend webinars. One is somewhat associated with the University of Michigan through the Graham Sustainability Institute, and it has to do with planning and zoning for both solar and wind power. I'm interested in it, so I will tell you I've attended it and I have found them valuable. There's one coming up tomorrow and one 2 weeks from tomorrow. We also had a very nice presentation, and I want to highlight that. Very professionally done from the folks at Narren Farms about their B&B efforts and rejuvenation of the dilapidated farm. And I think at some point in time, they're intending to invite the planning commission out for a meet and greet in person. And I think it's a little bit of a jewel for the township, to be honest with you, kind of unpublicized, so to speak. Let me see what else are in my notes. We've already talked about the master plan earlier. That's on its way. And I believe that's all I have, unless any of my mates or anybody in attendance have questions for it.
No, I feel pretty good that we got the master plan finally moving. It's unfortunate that Ben passed away, but
I know.
hopefully his work will endure for us. And I'm glad we're finally getting it done. It was just an unfortunate set of circumstances that caused all the delay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Next would be for the BZA. Gina, did you have anything to report?
There were no meetings.
Okay, it makes a short report. Okay, on supervisors, I got a couple of things I want to let everybody know about. I do have a sewer meeting coming up Wednesday at the fire station with Row Engineering and George Cullis from Holly. I have charged the engineering firm with going over the number of REUs by parcel with us so that we can determine exactly what the cash flow for the program is. I can tell you that in a nutshell, if we don't get the $25 million from infrastructure grant dollars through Alyssa Slotkin's office, I think there's no chance of making it work. The dollars are just too staggering. If we get it, based on the preliminary numbers I've seen from the county and the engineers, I actually think this could possibly work very well. But before I present it to the board with everybody, I want to make sure I can figure out how to lay this out in layman's terms as to what is the actual cash flow, what's the exposure to the township, and are we comfortable with the estimates that are in there to make sure the township doesn't end up on the short end of it. And that's kind of what Wednesday's meeting is, to get that going, to finalize that. So that's going to happen. As far as, and I'm putting this out deliberately because I hope people do watch this and hear about it, the discussion we had in the past that I would like to take the whole board to the grow facility in Orion is predicated on me first having the ordinance that Orion wrote looked at by Will Hostler, and I've already given that to him over a week ago. He's going to see if we can use that here with whatever changes we might have to make. So once I get that back, then I'll try and set up a tour for us to look at it. And at that point in time, I think we have to have I would assume, a pretty well-attended public meeting, because that's an issue I think a lot of people might want to comment on before we decide if we're going to do anything with it. The antenna lease, I told you a few months ago, American Tower hired a contractor to come and talk to us about trying to get the lease down lower. And I've been going back and forth, but they've changed the contact on us 2 or 3 times. So today I met contact either 3 or 4, whatever her name was, very nice lady. And I told her there were some items that our township attorney wanted to see before we would get back with a counter proposal. And Janelle sent that to him, I think today or tomorrow. I can't remember what it is. And so when that comes back, if it yields anything, I'll let you know, but I'm not in any hurry to give the deal that they asked for. I put together the outline of one that I thought was much fairer for the township, but we'll see what Will gets back on this information. And actually, when we get that back, Janelle, we'll probably have the most comprehensive documents we've ever had on what's actually on the antenna. I know from the work you and Teresa did before, I think we got a good handle on it, but Will wanted some other documents from them, and they've been hesitant in the past. So ball's in their court is the long and short of it. Oh, and I gave you all a copy of something I got today, a draft resolution that the Oakland County Sewer Department wants us to do, but I don't like to give something of this significance for that sewer project to you and then ask you to sign the resolution the same day, even though this isn't actually okaying the project. I just got it today. I wanted you all to have it, to look at it so you can think about it after my Wednesday meeting. we might be able to figure out whether or not we can sign this at May's meeting, okay? Master plan's done. And Dave Wardine got all the drawings we needed for trying to get the old Warden Road back in to connect our property to Shields. Patty wrote the check that we had to for $1,000 to consumers because they won't look at an easement for anybody till you give them $1,000 check for their law department. And we sent that to Will and he passed it on to them. So he thinks we'll be able to get what we need. We'll see. And Station 1 plans back in progress. Chief Mason and I met with Pete Maniaci over a week ago, went over a few changes that had to be done. Pete said he'll get those changes back to us. There'll be one more set down meeting for any last changes and then the final drawings for the plan. So that's when we'll have to decide, are we going to send it, who do we want to send it out to? And I got a couple of candidates I think that would be interested. This is, I know you're gonna find this hard to believe, but, oh, no, it is, I can't read my writing. Chief Mason did a real nice write-up on a one-page document, and Janelle took a look at it and made some corrections because Bob writes a lot of long sentences that are choppy. And Chief did a real nice write-up on it. Janelle improved it, and it's submitting to another group of dollars that's coming back for infrastructure improvements to the county. I think it's about $260 million. And we submitted for Groveland Township, the new fire station, the training center, and the MABUS task force training center they want to add to it to see if we could get $1.5 million for it. If we can, it would be a great shot in the arm for the fire department. It would help the township, and based on the criteria of what they wanted in the grant applications, I think we hit several of them like gangbusters on it. So the formal write-up, I think it's a 4 or 5 page document. The follow-up to it has to be done this Friday, and Chief's working on that. There were about 60 people on a call from Melissa Slotkin's office. They're all submitting projects, I assume. She's got to narrow those 60 or so submissions down to 10. And those 10 are going to get sent to Washington under the earmarks program. And she's hopeful of getting 1 or 2 of them. So we're early into it, but I think we got a really good story to tell on that and are hopefully a real good chance at it. So we'll let you know on that as it goes. And the other thing we talked about, the polling the calls, which I got to make a note here. Mark calendar. Call everybody 1 week in advance. Meetings. Okay. And that's all I have for the supervisor. Is there anything, Patty, you want to cover for the clerk's office?
Yeah, I do. I have a couple of things. One is the NOHAS collection. The first is going to be, collection will be Saturday, April 24th at the Oxford Middle School from 8 to 2. And it is $10 a card. The next one is the road commission fellow was in last week, and he was informing Teresa and the office ladies that this is really, I'm happy to hear this. We get phone calls all the time about, I have a dead deer in the road or on the side. So we were all pretty delighted to hear that the road commission has contracted with a company to pick them up. Therefore, you still need to call the road commission, and you can call in to get that number, and they will send out the contract people to pick up the dead deer on the road.
I'm assuming, I wasn't in on a call, but I'm assuming you still have to have the same criteria, which for those of you who don't know,
Yes.
if you have a dead animal, you need to make sure one of the feet touching the white line on the road. Okay.
Good point.
If it got hit and it's knocked off, off of the way of the roadway onto the front yard, they normally don't pick them up. Sometimes I've had them. I had a dead raccoon. They didn't throw anything on its stomach for it. I found out where he was. So I'm just saying that usually you could call them and they will ask you, is it in the road? The definition in the road is one of the hoofs is on that white line usually. So
another one is, I don't know if anybody in the you know, residents are interested or a business in Groveland or Holly. But Holly Little League is looking for sponsors for their 2021. And I'll put this on the Facebook page and the website. And if anybody's interested, it would be greatly appreciated so these kids can get out and play ball. The next thing I wanted to say was there is a networking event for the Oakland County Michigan Township Association chapter for the board members on Thursday, April 29th from 3:30 to 5:30 at Canterbury Village. If I don't know if anybody knows right now they're interested in going, if you can let me know, I will RSVP for everyone. And
You're going, right? Yeah.
otherwise you can just give me an email. Teresa, yes?
Yes, and me, yes.
I'm going.
Jim,
Okay,
you, Gina, can you make
I
that?
won't be there.
You won't be there? Okay.
okay, Bob, Teresa, and Jim. And I also want to say, Teresa wrote a really good article to the editor in the Citizen this week, sharing the projects that happen in the township to bring funds in, and also giving a good overview of how your taxes work. So good job, Teresa. It was really informative.
Thank you.
Okay,
And that's it.
okay, Teresa?
Just a couple things, basically, settlements done, Oakland County accepted all the settlement papers, and I'm in the queue for getting it all, you know, analyzed and approved by the Oakland County Treasurer. So that's good. I still can provide revised tax statements to any resident who needs to pay delinquent taxes. You need to have a revised tax statement either from this office or from Oakland County Treasurer at treasurer@oakgov.com or here. And then the other thing I wanted to kind of give a little update on, because we went ahead as a board and approved that we could do bsaonline.com so that our residents could look for themselves for free at their tax information online. And we did the contract with BSA Online that allowed our residents to look for free. It didn't cost us anything. And anybody who's a non-resident pays a $2 per hit fee. And so that went online February 22nd. And I went ahead and looked at the users, like the totals. And as of last week, Thursday, it had been probably 6 weeks, there were 165 hits on that site.
Wow.
And not all of them were pay per hit. Some of them were residents. You can't tell by looking at it who went ahead and accessed, but I did call them and I asked. And I will say that this township office has received like less than 5 phone calls from title companies, realtors.
Normally would call in a day, right?
Oh my word, like that's 165 less phone calls that called here asking for tax information that we have been discouraged from giving out over the phone anyway from Oakland County. They're like, don't give that information out over the phone. If someone doesn't hear you properly and so on, you need to let them go and look for themselves. So really, I've been very pleased because the phone used to ring frequently with people who just want to know how much are the taxes on this parcel, because I'm,
Realtors,
you know,
mostly, yeah.
yes, realtors, title companies doing closings and things like that. And they are accustomed to it. It makes me realize that they have been using this service all the time for other municipalities. We just weren't available on it because we didn't tell these people they had to do this. They just aren't calling us anymore. So I'm very, very happy with that. And I had Angela assisted me, and she went ahead and loaded the last 4 or 5 more years of tax information. So people can go online and look now and see not only 2020 taxes, but 2019, 2018, 2017. And so
And I
that's
bet
good.
that's the majority of them are gonna be the last couple of years,
Yep.
right?
Yep. So that's it for the treasurer's office.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. The only other thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if everybody got a copy of this,
Yeah.
but I think Janelle did a
Oh,
wonderful job on this.
Fantastic.
It's the ad that's going into the Citizen for us, a selection of photos and a nice write-up. So thank you again on that, Janelle. And I have nothing and I don't see any public. So is there any public comment?
Chief Mason?
If not, I need a motion to adjourn and reconvene for the fire meeting.
I'll motion to adjourn, reconvene for the fire.
Second,
I'll second.
I think Teresa.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, Kevin, we're done with the meeting. We're here for the fire board meeting. It's your meeting.
Let's see how it works off of that. They can hear.
Oh, you want me to mute this?
No, let's see if they can hear me on
Oh.
that.
Patty, can you hear Kevin?
Yeah, maybe.
Does it
No.
sound okay, or do you want to mute that one?
I can hear you now.
I mean, I can just speak loud. I mean, Jim's the only one who wouldn't hear me.
Project.
You, I can see you, Kevin.
Thank you all. For the month of March, we ended up with 75 calls. Last year, we had 42, so obviously that's a nice jump. If you look further down, we had 262 calls up through March 31st. So that's more than we had in the last 2 years. So I think we're on a good track right now. We're currently at 26 calls for this month. It's a little bit slow. We've had quite a few fire calls, brush fires and some minor structure fires. And we've had good turnouts for all those fires. So I'm real happy about that.
Yeah, I think in general, things are going pretty well in the fire department right now.
You see the 262 calls for March 31st. That's 73 more calls than we had last year at the same time.
Mhm.
It's quite a jump.
You know, it's interesting. Everybody thought that COVID would hit and they would get bombarded with calls. It didn't happen.
Because no one could go out and do things. So we're stuck in the house.
And now they
Yeah.
can go out, so they are.
I have a recommendation to hire, I have not met him yet, but he met with Olivia, and he's a cadet. He's 14 years old. And when we only have one cadet, it's kind of a, how do you say, not a big project anymore because, you know, it's only one person. So we have one cadet right now. So Mendox Scott Johnson, we'd like to hire him as a cadet. He actually lives in Holly, and his coverage would be through the village of Holly. So we checked with Chief McGee, and he said he couldn't hire him. So we're cleared to hire him, and he'd be a cadet. And they get paid when they go on calls, but that's basically it.
Okay, so you want a motion to hire him?
Motion to hire him.
Okay, someone want to make a motion to approve Mendox Scott Johnson for cadet?
I will move that we hire Mendox Scott Johnson as a cadet for the Groveland Township Fire Department.
Is there a second?
Let's just add to that that he has to fill out his application and paperwork and so on.
Don't they for it?
Well, puppy shots.
Whatever they call them, yeah, puppy shots.
Pending.
Yeah.
We do the
Background
check.
check.
We check them for TB and stuff like that.
Okay,
Parvo.
and Patty, Kevin's got the paperwork on him right now on his.
Good job, Kevin.
You second Gina's motion?
Yes, I'll support it.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? If not, could you take a roll call on it, Janelle?
Phyllis,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazarelli,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Chief,
Yes.
Item 5.
Our ID printer, I guess the best way to say is old and it's not compatible with Windows 10. We've tried to get it to run on some older computers. The ribbons are all dried out, so basically it's not worth fixing. We got a quote from the Zebra ID Security online. They want $1,560 for the car, for the printer. And we ordered some ribbons, and that's an extra $117. So the total is $1,677. That's a lot for something we don't use very often. So Sergeant Burdess got in touch with Springfield and the Village of Holly. They're willing to go in a third on the printer, because we use it, a couple times a year. So we'll either just keep it at our station and they can come use it, or they'll take it and bring it to their station. But so I would like approval. I'd like to buy it ourselves, and then we'll get reimbursed from them for $1,677.
Okay, and out of curiosity, would it be, I'm just curious if it would be a big problem to print up badges for everybody in the office
Well, that's
too?
what prompted it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I think that would be good.
Those badges.
Yeah, I don't even recognize my old one, so.
Yeah, so we tried to print them out. We couldn't get it to work. So that's what prompted it.
Okay, all right, so that's your request. I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of $1,677 for a new ID printer and the necessary ribbons for it. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board?
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, and take a roll call, please.
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes,
Bath,
Yes,
Bill,
Yes.
okay. That's it, Chief.
Things that came up after I printed this out. One of our Life Pack 12, which is the older Life Packs,
Die.
died. And we took it to the company that calibrates them, and they said it's dead and it's not worth fixing. So we have 6 of them. We only have 4 trucks. I had one in my car, and we loaned one to Springfield, so they get, up to speed there. So I wasn't going to replace it, but the company that checked it out they said, we'll sell you a reconditioned Life Pack 12 for $1,500. We didn't budge. They called today, said, how about $1,000? And I said, well, that sounds like a good deal. So I like, since it's $1,000, I don't really have to get permission to purchase it, but I would like a motion to purchase a replacement Life Pack 12 for $1,000.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we purchase a replacement Life Pack.
By the way, a Life Pack 15, which is the newer version, is like $20,000. So,
Yeah, for $1,000. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, is there a second to Gina's motion?
Second that.
By Teresa. Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, Janelle, if you take a roll call on it?
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Bath,
yes,
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Okay, is that it, chief? Oh, more, okay.
Nick Burgess, I get those names mixed up. Passed his EMT test today, so.
Oh, you got it today?
And Liam Sands passed his medic test today.
Yay.
All right.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Great.
Stole my thunder on the grants, so just Stacy's working on a grant for a stair chair. And
Oh,
those are very expensive. They're like $2,700, and I'm like, we're not spending that much money on a stair chair.
Stair chair, what is a stair
It's
chair?
a fold-up chair that we can bring into a house, put a patient on, and has handles, extra handles to help carry them down.
Oh,
We
okay.
have, well, I think we have 4 of them, but they're antiques really what they are. But if we could get a grant for them, firehouse subs routinely will have grants, but they'll accept 600 applications and cut it off. And the last time we tried, we already have 600.
You know, I had something that came in today that we've used in the past. The PAR plan does, it won't help that problem, but the PAR plan does have annual opportunities to submit for grants that would improve safety and stuff. And that's how we got all the outside cameras here, because people were leaving junk in the foyer and out in the backyard. We should, right? But my thought was, not this year, because I can't think of anything, but maybe after we get the station built and moved, that might be a real good thing for us to do for the fire department, to get security cameras around the building for the training center and all of that.
You know, we just bought the system from Sam's and put it in ourselves on the station.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that was like $400.
okay.
When the lightning bolt, it took everything.
Burned it all, okay. Good enough. Okay,
And
I didn't
for
think of
one
it.
more grant thing, I transferred that to Stacy about the electric vehicle charging station, so.
Yes. Okay, because we thought it'd be better to have it at that station in development here if we can get it.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, chief. If there are no other questions or comments, motion's in order to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll support.
Okay. No, any other questions? Not? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? We're done.